Welcome, believers. Welcome, conspiracy theorists. Welcome to the wonderfully weird world of the Tinfoil Hat Fan Club, where we talk about all the batshit crazy stuff that goes on in the world, and there is loads. Now, on today's episode, I want to go into a character called Paul Hellyer. Okay, in January 2014, he went on telly, a Russian TV, but he went on telly to state that aliens are real. There's loads of species and they've been around for thousands of years. So look, stay tuned and I will tell you more about it. Well, thanks for sticking around. Much appreciated. So, the story of Paul Hellyer. Okay, Paul Hellyer, a former Canadian Defence Minister, had first aired his views about aliens back in 2014. Okay, he claimed back then that aliens have not only visited our planet, but they also live among us. That is, aliens live right here, right now, and they are on Earth. Okay, now in January 2014, Paul Hellyer gave an interview to Russian TV and made certain disclosures. Okay, now Paul Hellyer was a defence minister in the Canadian government between 63 and 67. Now, if we accept, okay, and we should, that UFOs are indeed the product of intelligent life from elsewhere, aliens from space, then the sheer number of sightings, both in modern times and across recorded history, suggests aliens have been visiting this planet for thousands of years, if not much longer. So, if this is the case, then we need to ask why they are doing so. What is it on Earth that keeps drawing this intelligence back? Is it the natural resources of the planet? You know, our oil, our water. Perhaps the absolute plethora of life that is found here. Maybe that's it. Or might it be humanity itself? And, perhaps of more importance, what is the agenda in relation to the lives of humans on this planet today, me and you? How would their agenda affect us? Of course, this is a question impossible to answer, of course it is. Even if you read volumes and volumes of books, you're never going to find out, are you? We can, however, highlight several potential reasons for the prolonged alien presence on Earth. Okay, look, as we say, is it resources? Is it us? And while this presence has seemingly been here since antiquity, it would appear to have increased somewhat in the second half of the 20th century. So, it is worth listening to the words and warnings of Paul Hellyer, okay, and the importance that we obtain answers to these questions quicker rather than later. The fact that Hellyer, a former high-ranking Canadian Defence Minister, is willing to say such things on telly, knowing that he will get ridiculed, should make us pay close attention to what he's trying to say, eh? Look, I'm going to play you a little clip of it, okay, and you can tell me what you think afterwards, all right? So, roll the tape.
Well, because I know that they are. They've been, as a matter of fact, they've been visiting our planet for thousands of years. And one of the cases that would interest you most, if you give me 2 or 3 minutes to answer, is during the Cold War, 1961, there were about 50 UFOs in formation flying south from Russia to across Europe. And the Supreme Allied Commander was very concerned and about ready to press the panic button when they turned around and went back over the North Pole. So they decided to do an investigation, and they investigated for 3 years, and they decided that with absolute certainty that 4 different species at least, had been visiting this planet for thousands of years. So that's, we have a long history of UFOs, and of course there's been a lot more activity in the last few decades since we invented the atomic bomb, and they're very concerned about that and the fact that we might use it again. And because the whole cosmos is a unity, and it affects not just us but other people in the cosmos, they're very much afraid that we might be stupid enough to start using atomic weapons again, and this would be very bad for us and for them as well.
So no serious scientist.
Okay, well, what do you think then, Paul Hellyer? Now, he does mention the fact that they have been around for thousands of years. What would explain some of the ancient ruins and massive stone buildings that are found all over the world? I believe that we are not the first advanced civilization on this planet. Now, was it aliens who built those, or was it an advanced civilization before us? That is another video, isn't it? But he also mentions the uptake in sightings since the atomic bomb that was dropped in 1945. Okay, because that made mankind a different level of dangerous. Some researchers very much agree with Hellier's summary of the alien question. He mentions, okay, that the aliens are keeping technology behind. In particular, the desire to withhold technology from humanity. And because of the 1945 bomb, where we decided to blow our own people up, I think they've decided, look, we can't give them a lot of technology because they're just not ready for it. Perhaps leading UK UFO researcher Nick Pope says it best, right? He basically says, we are, after all, a race who has used the atomic bomb on its own people. Would you trust us? Now, I'm going to say it again because it should sink in, innit, right? We are, after all, a race who has used the atomic bomb on its own people. Would you trust us? So you wouldn't, would you? That's basically it, really. I mean, there's that old joke, innit? You know, when they lock their doors of their flying saucers when they pass Earth because we're a bit rough. You know, we're not sophisticated in any way whatsoever, are we? While it's perhaps one thing that we destroy ourselves and everything on our planet, from an extraterrestrial perspective, if we were suddenly able to bring our destructive ways into the outer cosmos, would we think twice before acting in such a way? You know, our warlike tendencies. Maybe this is the reason UFO sightings would explode shortly after the atomic bomb did in 1945. Paul Hellyer claimed that there are many species of aliens, and some of those species have been visiting our planet for thousands of years. Some of these aliens are from other galaxies and star systems, but a few of these species do live on Venus, Mars, and the moons of Saturn, Hellyer states. That most of these alien species are not a threat to humans. To the contrary, most alien species are benevolent and intend to help mankind. However, the species have decided not to intervene in our ways of living or to assist us in any way unless we desire it, and we ask for their help and collaboration. Now, I'm going to play you another clip of Paul Hellyer, right, and he's talking about the different alien species, okay? So watch this one.
Well, you have the first question you have to ask is how many species are there? And I used to think there were, between 2 and 12. And Apollo astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who came to Toronto a few years ago and had dinner with us, agreed there was somewhere between 2 and 12. But the latest reports that I've been getting from various sources are that there are about 80 different species. And some of them look just like us, and they could walk down the street and you wouldn't know if you ran, walked past one. And they're what we call the Nordic blondes, and also the tall whites, who were actually working with the United States Air Force in Nevada. They're able to get away with that. They had a couple of their ladies dressed as nuns went into Las Vegas to shop, and they weren't detected. And I have a friend who saw one of the men walking along the street, and somebody who would recognize that they were different, and he did. So there are those kind, and then there are the short grays, as they're called, and they're the ones that you see in most of the cartoons. Have very, very slim arms and legs, and they're very short, just a little over 5 feet. And they have a great big torso and a great big head and great big brown eyes. But they're different species, so you have to know that they're different species, and it's and know that they're all different. Mm-hmm. So one, if you saw the short gray, if you saw the short grays, you'd certainly know that there was something up that you'd never seen before. But if you saw one of the Nordic blondes, well, you'd probably say, oh, I wonder if she's from Denmark or somewhere, you know.
So what do you think then? He obviously goes into different species. He goes into the Nordics. He goes into the Greys. What do you think? Do you think they're knocking about on our planet? I do. I honestly do. Now, he does say, though, that there are ETs that do offer a threat and may have ulterior motives. Okay, we have just got to be careful about which ones are around, aren't we? Paul Hellyer, as I say, was a Canadian Minister of Defence in 1960. Ruling over the country's armed forces during the time of the Cold War. And when he retired, he publicly stated that we are not alone in the universe, and some guests from outer space actually do live here on the planet. What do you think? That's crazy, isn't it? All of Paul's claims cannot be rejected outright, since there is always a possibility that some alien species may look like us and may be living with us on our planet. I mean, you can't just rule it out. And they've been gone undetected for years. So what do you think? It's entirely plausible that we ourselves did not originate on this planet. Now, there is a conspiracy theory to say that we didn't actually, as I say, originate from this planet, which doesn't rule out the theory of multiple species being of similar nature and also appearance, as well as our biological composition. They often claim to be our ancestors, the aliens, and we do not come from apes or chimps. Do you know what? I'm not going to totally dismiss that. I'm really not. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up, right, with one little thing. He goes on to say that aliens are miffed or disappointed with us because we don't have the best ways of living. We don't look after our planet. We don't feed the poor, do we? We make atomic bombs and keep fighting with one another. We destroy forests and don't evolve and use our planet as we should. All these reasons, although meaningful, appear to be of an environmentalist and a concerned citizen of the planet rather than that of an alien expert. They indicate they may be coming here in large numbers and want to preserve the planet environmentally. Because we keep being warned, don't we? Now, if you look into alien abduction stories, a lot of them do say, look, we're here to tell you to look after your planet. And if you don't look after your planet, we are going to take it off you. Let's just hope it ain't in our lifetime, eh? Or we do sort our act out. Now, Paul Hellyer isn't the only one to come out and say this, okay? There are other people. I mean, there are other famous people. There's a scientist in Belgium, and I will put him up there, okay? That's him and that's his name. He's a deputy director of the Space Research Institute. In November of 2009, he said, aliens are currently all around us and are watching us all the time. They are not hostile towards us. Rather, they want to help us, but we have not grown enough in order to establish direct contact yet. They are ready to help us, though, if we need it. Well, what do you think then? Paul Hellyer, okay? Let's light up the comments, please. Yeah, you tell me what you think, okay? So this is the Tinfoil Hat Fan Club. Please like and subscribe if you can, because that would be great, you know? Well, I want to get this channel growing, and I want to tell you all the crazy batshit stuff that goes on in the world. So please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.